One of the things I do right now is I travel around the world as a motivational speaker. I do the same thing in America. I travel to Australia, to Sweden, different parts of the world, to the Middle East or whatever. But something is very unique about the kids here in London. And the reason why I say that is because the kids here in London remind me of the people in America the way we grew up in the 70s or the 80s. And the reason why I say that is because, in no disrespectful manner, but the reason why I say this is because you guys are basically going through what we went through already. You guys are basically doing what we did 20, 30, 40 years ago. When it started off with just Bloods and Crips and everybody used to have fights with each other. And then all of a sudden, knives got introduced. Once the knives got introduced, a few years later, guns got introduced. Now it's to the point that there's so many gunplay on the streets, so many young people getting murdered every single day in America from gun crime.
Personal experiences like help us, and he's like able to relate to us better than other people. Like other people do just come in and just tell us random facts about stuff that we don't really care about.
That they don't even know.
Yeah, they don't even know what they just researched it.
Yeah, he speaks to us about things that we can relate to.
Yeah.
And if you guys don't wake up, you guys basically gonna put yourself in a position, and you might even be worse than us in America. And I think anybody that have some common sense or anybody that have any type of right mind, they would never ever want to live in a situation or live in a neighborhood when you walk outside in the morning to go to school, you hear a drive-by shooting 2 blocks away. I don't think nobody want to live in a situation where you look at a person the wrong way and he don't even say nothing to you. He go around the corner, get his gun, come back and shoot you in the back of the head. I don't think you want to live in a situation when you come to a high school and you want to come learn, and somebody come in your high school room and shoot you in your face in front of your teacher, in front of other classmates. These are everyday stories in America, to the point that in Chicago, about 70 people, young African American and Hispanic males from high school murdered each other in 1 year.
Because like every area wants to have a gang, like so they feel protect that they're protected.
It's basically a family. It's basically security and that. Just basically being in a gang.
The security is basically. When you form a gang, it's basically a family, basically, they're turning into a different
No matter how small or no matter how big, like, you just feel secure. And it's like, as Mutah said, that we don't want it to get out of hand like it is in America and that.
So you guys gotta realize, man, that y'all living in a situation that you might not take serious right now. But if you guys let it get out of control, then I guarantee you will regret it. Because now you got gangsters in America, the ones who founded the Bloods and Crips, they on their knees every night crying, saying we didn't know that it was going to get like this. We didn't know that once we shoot one of them, they're going to come back and shoot 5 people in my family or 5 of my friends. We didn't know that it would get to the point where you got people in America, man, where they kidnapping people, little brothers, cutting their fingers off, mailing it back to them for ransom money. This sound like a movie, but this is actual facts that happen in America. So it's very important that you guys realize that the situation you're in right now is a very unique situation that you can turn it around. Right now, you guys can be smart. You guys can be the success story. You guys can basically look at the mistakes that we made in America, and you guys can say we're not going to take that same route that the young people did in America. Because I don't think nobody want to live in a situation like that, correct? Nobody, if you have some type of common sense, will want to live in a situation, man, where a person can take 200 pounds and buy an AK-47 off the streets. These are actually guns that's on the street found every single day in America. And one of the ways you can turn it around is education. When I was young, growing up in my neighborhood, we didn't take education serious. You guys have an opportunity in a country like this, man. You guys have so many opportunities, so many handouts that we didn't have in America. Every corner you look is a youth center. You got people, the police told me in this country, and one of the police officers was telling me that basically when people get released from prison in this country, if they don't have a place to live, the council actually give them a house. I never heard of this type of stuff. In America, you get released from jail, you don't have a place to go, you just gotta sleep on the street. That's your problem. You guys got it good out here, but you guys gotta take advantage of that. You guys gotta take advantage of all the blessings that you have before it run away. So it's very important that you guys take advantage of your education, because basically, education is what's gonna get y'all up out of the hood. If you have hundreds of thousands in your bank account, you cash in hundreds of $1,000s worth of checks every 6 months, you got 3 houses, you got $80,000 cars, $100,000 cars, wouldn't you guys be happy? Yeah. Many people think that the only way you can be happy in life if you achieve these type of things, right? Yeah. I thought the same way before I left New Jersey. I thought the same way until I put myself in that situation. And I noticed the more money that I had, the more materialistic things that I was basically purchasing from this life, I know that the more I was getting from this world that most people might think make them happy, the more depressed I became. This trip was basically in Southern. I got brought out here by the Southern Council. The last time I was here, I was with the Ealing Police Department or the Ealing Council. I had a very sick mentality. I remember I used to walk around with a loaded gun, and if I see a crowd of people hanging on the corner, I would jump out and I would make sure that they see my jewelry, and I used to want them to try to take my jewelry, so basically I pull out my gun and shoot them. This was the mentality that I had. I used to want to hurt people. To the point with that same sick mentality, I got into a fight with my little brother. My own little brother that was 6 months old when my mother and father got murdered while he was in the house. The same little brother that I vowed to protect, me and my older brother. I got into a fight with him, and I hurt him so bad that he had to go to the hospital and get staples in his head.
He can change people's life, because like him, he said, he was a class clown and I'm a class clown, but what he said, yeah, like education, I think I could stop all that.
You guys out here have a lot of opportunities. You have youth centers on every corner. You got schools that, for example, if you get kicked out of one school, they got other schools that you can go to, and people basically give you one-on-one tutoring, etc. You guys have so many opportunities out here. So the difference between the kids over there, in America, a lot of the kids are actually hardcore street kids, even though you might have that out here. But in America, for example, the other day they told me I'm going to meet some of the worst kids in this particular borough. And when I actually met these kids, they was like some of the nicest kids. They could, compared to American kids, they'd be the nicest kids in the neighborhood. But if you go to America and say, we're going to introduce you to some of the worst kids of America, when they're about 12 or 13, 14 years old, they probably already murdered somebody already shot somebody already, you know?
Follows the same religion as me, so it's like, he's basically a role model to me, like, coming up from like where he came from and like making it big out of like what he did.
On behalf of the Year 10s, we would like to say thank you for coming and speaking to us about your life and things that happened in the past, and we'd like to say we'd like you to come back maybe next time.
Thanks for having me. Let the choices you make today be choices you can live with tomorrow. That's serious right there. It's the truth, man.